And letter knowledge is basically just knowing how letters look and that each one is unique and different and represents a different sound and how they are put together to make up words. Um, the first words that children usually learn, other than maybe like stop, are their names. And that is the most important word to them, of course, because that is something that belongs to them. And they also like to learn the names of their family members and mom and dad and other members of their community, maybe that are really important to them. So that would be the most logical place to start with the letters that represent important things in their own lives. And so a lot of children come to school already knowing their own name and maybe the name of a sibling, or at least the first letter of their name, and their siblings' names, maybe a couple of words. And you can help them to do that by having books around the house, but also manipulative letters, maybe on the refrigerator, or just toy letters, blocks, things that they can manipulate. And you can practice naming them and lining them up and putting them in order to spell their names or names of important things, or little short words, cat, dog, stop, go. But it's not necessarily expected that they would learn to start spelling words yet, but it is important that they just know that basic knowledge of the letter names, some of the sounds in letters, and that the letters do go together to make words, I would say. You can play lots of different games with them. They can practice writing them. They can draw them with chalk or in shaving cream. That's a fun activity. They can, have many different types of utensils to try writing with, markers, and they can also, of course, on tablets or on computers, practice identifying on the keyboard the letter or drawing on a tablet like that. But I do think it's really important to make sure they do have pencil and paper or crayon and paper so that they can really develop the fine motor skills necessary for writing, because we are finding that kids coming into school these days have fewer experiences with actually holding pencils and writing, just because of the way technology has been, and especially this past year. It's more typing, which isn't developing those fine motor skills to hold a pencil and to have handwriting that's legible. So that's something that might be another great thing is those magnetic boards, like a Magnadoodle, because it's the same thing. They have to hold the little pen, but it's a lot of fun for them. They can draw on it as well, and that is still developing those skills while not always having to have paper handy, but they can write as much as they can and practice. And if they make a mistake, they can erase it and start again. So they seem to really like that as well. And you can write and have them trace on that as well, so they can start to really form the letters correctly. All right, and then this is just a reminder to give your child a daily high five. So every day, of course, you should be talking with your child. That sounds like maybe not something you thought we would point out, but it is actually, a day can go by where you're super busy and it's easy for them to be entertained on maybe a device or something, and you might let a day go by and not realize how little you did spend time talking to your child. And that's another thing about reading with them, because it forces that to happen. It takes that chunk of time that you've devoted to reading and you are just 100% focused on your child. And as a parent of teenagers, I know that days can go by and you didn't realize how little time you spent with them. And I just think that there's nothing more important or more special than the time you get to spend. So I just think we all need that reminder, and we all need to really think about the priorities and however busy we are to just take some time. Also singing, which can be done anywhere, anytime. Reading, as I said, and all of the, like, you could read, talk, and sing in the same sitting really, because if you're reading a book that might have a rhythm to it, you might be singing. And so it's not like you have to spend your entire day doing this, but just a simple way, a reminder, like, did we do that? Hopefully, and if you miss a day, you miss a day, but the goal is to do these things every single day. So playing a little bit and then maybe writing, like I said, on that Magnadoodle, or just with chalk, or any type of writing activity, modeling that as well. The reading and the writing is just huge. Kids, if you think about how your example is so powerful, they are super good at imitating, scrolling on your phone, or typing on a computer. But are those, and though it's fine. I mean, that's life. But what we also want to make sure we're modeling is some of the other behaviors that we want them to emulate. It's really hard to expect your child to go read a book for a little while when they're older if you're not showing them that that's important to you. So that those are just, it can be a challenge. I'm not pretending it's not. But if you really want to, provide the best early literacy environment for your child, then it's really important to model and to prioritize that time spent together. And it is, when you do sit down and read, I think most people do and actually enjoy it. It's just like exercise, like you are glad you did it when you did it. But it's easy to let it go as well. That's why maybe you could even stick something like this reminder on your fridge, or wherever, just so that you're really taking the time, and you took the time today. So that's something, and we know you really care, and I really appreciate that. It's near and dear to my heart, and I know Midra's too. We just want to do as much as we can to set these children up for success in school, and it starts with their families.